Good afternoon. This is not going to be the typical edition of anything that I've done on my channel. Today is September the 11th. It's a day that we honor those who lost their lives on 9/11. But unfortunately today it's also a day that we are having to deal with another tragedy, and that's the tragic assassination of CharlieKirk. Now, my channel is not a political channel, okay? I don't talk political stuff, and what I'm about to say, has nothing to do with his political views or what, well, I don't know. It doesn't have to do with his political views. However, it does have to do with the views of the person who took his life. Being on this platform and doing what I do is protected by our First Amendment right. Okay? And part of our First Amendment rights is the freedom of speech. It's what allows us to do what we do here. This man not only was exercising his freedom of speech, but he also was exercising his right to peaceful assembly. And that's what it was. This man was not a man who condoned violence. As a matter of fact, his platform was kind of like a lot of mine is, us learning how to communicate with each other in a way that doesn't have to include violence. He was 31 years old, had a wife, 2 young children, a little boy and a little girl, younger than my oldest son. Okay? This man's younger than my oldest son. Sitting under a tent, crisscross applesauce, not speaking to a very large group of community members, but for the most part, it was college students. A lot of them freshmen. Those young people will be traumatized for the rest of their lives for your actions, sir. We do have your picture. Your picture is being shown around the world. We have what we believe was your weapon, a Mauser 30-06. Now, this was actually a gun that was used in World War II for human decimation. A lot of people use them now for hunting deer, elk, sometimes even bear. You used it to take out a human being. Why? Because he was exercising his freedom of speech. Now, allegedly, sir, we also now have footage of you on your way to the event, hobbling down the road, clearly because you have the gun tucked down in your pants. You look really funny. Then we also have video footage of you after the event when you were running like a scalded dog, like the coward that you are. And it was very clear, again, being that you were running as you were, that you no longer had that weapon down in your pants anymore. It's because you left it over in the woods. But, you obviously are a good shot, sir. So I don't know where that comes into play. I don't know if you grew up hunting or if you have a background in law enforcement or the military or if you just simply trained to do this one thing. I don't know. But what you very stupidly forgot to do, a 30-06, a Mauser 30-06, that's bolt action. You have to spit out that cartridge that you just used to take that man's life. You didn't do that. Okay. So not only did you leave the other ammunition that you wrote on so we can test your handwriting. They have ways of doing that. Yes, they do. No, they're not going to give you a sheet of paper and say, oh, write this out, because no, that won't look the same. But what they can do is provide you with a cylindrical object the same width as the ammunition that you used for that gun, and I ask you to write on it DNA all over the place. I didn't see any gloves on your hands. And given the fact that you wrote on the ammunition, I'm sure that your DNA is there too. But again, I'm getting away from my whole thing. You took a man's life because he was exercising his right to freedom of speech. Now, here in the United States of America, that is what we fought for. Okay, one of the reasons we got away from England is because we wanted certain rights. We wanted, to have these freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to assemble, all those nice little things, because we didn't want to be told what to do. Okay, so you, sir, coming in and taking this man's life because he's, exercising his freedom of speech. Is it because you think that your beliefs or whatever, your life is worth your beliefs, but his life wasn't worth his beliefs? Or is it that you only think certain people should have freedom of speech? I don't know. But I will, I'm going to give you a little information, though. If, sir, you would like to live in a country where you can't exercise your freedom of speech, you took him out for using, for exercising his freedom of speech. If you would like to live in a country where that's not permitted, I have here's a list for you. We have the following governments that right now are authoritarian governments, which means that, you have to do and say what the government says that you can do and say. And if you don't go by their rules, then they take your head off most of the time, literally. But here's you a list of places that you can go live. We have China, also known as the People's Republic of China. We have Cuba. We have Laos. We have North Korea, also known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And we have Vietnam, also known as the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Those are all places you can go where you don't have to, where you can't exercise your freedom of speech. Okay? But yeah, in your crime, I have a problem with that because this is what I do. I exercise my freedom of speech. Now, that being said, my home has been swatted. The authorities have been sent to my home a total of 3 times by people who don't like what I have to say, and others around me, because this isn't the only place that I am on the internet. I also am involved with a group of nonprofit organizations that help identify, locate, and put behind bars PDF files. Yes. So, yes, my home's been, I've had the authorities have been to my home a total of 3 times. Because, those people work in groups too. And they will go and they will find your address and your phone number and your family's information. So I know how all this goes. In other words, I'm not immune. I'm not immune to. I mean, I've had had it happen to me too. So I I'm not speaking off the cuff. In other words, I'm not speaking from inexperience. In other words, so sir, again, there are other places you can go live. Every person who does anything like this, all the channels that are on YouTube, if you don't see a problem with what this person did, then you don't value your channel a whole lot, and you don't value your rights as an American citizen. Because put aside any of the political bull crap, put aside any of the sexual orientation stuff, the racial stuff, any of that. Put all that aside. Charlie took a bullet in the neck because someone didn't like what he was saying. Had nothing to do with him being violent. He had never been violent to anyone. As a matter of fact, that's what his platform was trying to encourage us to debate our different opinions instead of using violence. But now he leaves behind a wife and, like I said, his 2 young children, a son and a daughter. But sir, yes, we have many, many pictures of you. I don't know why you thought you'd be able to do this in a college town, and there not be, photos of you everywhere. But yeah, so to the probably hundreds of college students that are going to need therapy now, I encourage you, if you were there and you saw this horrible thing happen, please get yourself some therapy. If you can't sleep at night, you need to go see a therapist. If you are having social anxiety where you can't go to the grocery store or to the gas station, please go see a therapist. PTSD is real, and it is sudden violent actions such as this that cause it. And there's no, and it's not your fault at all that this happened. But please, they are offering help. Please take it. Now, with all of the pictures that are going around of this person, if you happen to know who this is, or if you saw anything, no matter how insignificant you may think it might be, you might hold the key to finding this person who needs to be put behind bars before he takes the life of someone else because he doesn't like what they have to say. You can do that at tips.fbi.gov, or you can call their tip line at 1-800-CALL-FBI, which that is 1-800-225-5324. Or you can dial 1-801-579-1400. They are getting tips all the time now. And also, if you live in that area and you have a Ring doorbell camera, please check your footage. And if you have any footage of this person, or if you think it's him, please let the FBI know. This person is a danger. They took a human life because they didn't like what he had to say. And they were too much of a coward to actually sit and talk to him and to voice his opinions and to listen to Charlie's opinions, and for them to agree that sometimes you have to agree to disagree. Because that's what America is. It's okay if we don't agree. It doesn't mean that you're not a bad person or that I'm a bad person. It just means that I have a lot of people that I love them. But on certain subjects, we just have to agree to disagree. That's the mature way of handling things. We don't go take the lives of others. That's a crime. Today alone, again, we've had a full day of college and university campuses having hoax calls, again, all day long. Is this person a part of that group of people that's doing that? Even to include the Naval Academy at Annapolis in Maryland. Yes. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to, this, but this has bothered me because, like I said, I've already been, I've been doxxed, phone number given out, social media, all that, cops sent to my house, all that stuff. Okay, so I'm, I've been a victim of your kind of, I don't even know what you want to call it, because it's not that's not the way we live here in America. Like I said, I gave you a full list of these countries where you can go live if you don't want people to be able to voice their opinions in public peacefully, as he was doing. I mean, like I said, sitting there, crisscross applesauce on a table. So, and if you are a person, no matter, like I said, don't care, no matter what the political affiliation or what, none of that. If you are a person who's going to celebrate the murder of another person, you're soulless. And you need therapy before you kill someone yourself, because that's borderline psychosis. Okay? We don't celebrate it when people, that's what people in other countries do. That's why we have America. So go live there. Go live there. If you don't like it here, go live somewhere else. Now I'll admit, some that right now we are living in an age where, you know, people completely just, they do things just over the top crazy. I get it. Still no excuse for taking someone's life. And it's also no excuse to celebrate someone's life being taken. That's sick. And you need help. Just as much help as the person who pulled the trigger, as a matter of fact. So anyway, you know, I'm going to close this with kind of just like Nancy Grace did. You know, you can't hide. We will find you. Guarantee it. All right, guys. Y'all have fun out there. Please be safe. And always, always, always know that you're loved. Love you guys. Bye.